Thank you so much for turning out today. I think it's a case of cold hands and a warm heart. Is anyone else beside me feeling a bit chilly around the ears? Yes. Just think, we're only out here for an hour. Think if you had to be out all night, what that would be like. Or if you had to make a choice between leaving an abusive partner and being out here all night, which is what it boils down to for many women in Calgary. Many women that I know of in this city are having to make the most terrible choices, choices that nobody should be called upon to make. Besides leaving violent situations, I know of women who are sleeping with the wrong guy. There's a woman I've been in contact with now for a couple of years who cycles in and out of homelessness. One place she goes is a house where the landlord doesn't want money for rent, but sexual favors. A couple of times she's been on the phone to me and she said, "I've got to go now because he's coming in the front door." And she runs out to the back and she hides in the yard. That's happening in Calgary. I know students who are living in basement suites with sewage trickling across the floor because that's all they can afford. That could happen to so many of us. And why, do you ask, do the women not go to shelters? Well, they're perceived in many cases, especially if they're mixed, to be very unsafe places. And indeed, at times, they are unsafe. I think of one woman I spoke to, and I asked her why she was sleeping outside. And she said, "The last time I slept in a shelter, I woke up because a man was peeing on me. I don't think that's a home." I wrote All Our Sisters because as a volunteer, I realized it was extremely harsh for women in this city. And as I did research across Canada, I realized that my first impressions were true. It is very, very difficult for women in this city to get the kind of help they need. Interestingly, nowhere else did anyone question the need for a book like All Our Sisters. In fact, the more facilities a city had for women, the more I got encouragement for the book. Only in Calgary did angry people confront me about it, and people would come up and poke their fingers in my face and say, "Why are you wasting your time writing this book? We see the men, but there are no women." Shame, yes. And I said, that is the problem. You don't see the women. You're shortly going to hear from a couple of women who have experienced homelessness in this city. So I'm not going to dwell on what it's like. They can do that job much better. What I want to talk to you about is what we can do. It's all too easy to fall into quick gestures that don't really help anyone, or to say it's so overwhelming I can't make a difference. Well, I'm here to challenge you to say that you can make a difference. The first step is to educate yourself so that you can talk about homelessness with real knowledge, because there are far too many lies perpetrated, like it's easy to pull up your socks. What those lies do is lay the blame on the victims and make it easier for the rest of us to stand back and do nothing. We have this brochure that I hope everyone will pick up a copy, because it will help dispel some of those lies. They used to be called myths, but I'm now calling them lies. The second step is to make sure our time, energy, and donations go to causes that make real changes in people's lives. The homeless situation was made not by the people who have nowhere to live, so we have to go to the root causes and change society. A pretty scary thing, but we can do it in this can-do city. The situation has gone way beyond charity, way beyond cookies at Christmas, if that was ever a solution. We need to talk to politicians, and I'm happy to see at least 2 candidates in the crowd today. Both women, I say. Yay!
Thank you.
And we need to talk to them about such things as affordable, safe, appropriate housing, about decent wages, about quality childcare for all children, changing UI so that it fits women's work patterns, not just men's. And above all, ensuring that all Canadians can live with safety and dignity, and that all our children can look forward to a bright future. I challenge you, when you wake up tomorrow, to let your fingers do the dialing, and armed with these information brochures, to phone a politician and ask them what they are doing to make sure everyone has what you and I would call home. Thank you.